Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of A Brush with Death. I'm your host, Miss Casey Hanalei, and in this series, I sit down, I tell you a true crime story, and I paint you a pretty picture at the same time. If that sounds like your vibe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. See what I did there? And don't forget to hit the bell notification, that way you will never miss one of my terrible but creative stories. So, can you tell who we're talking about today? I'm wearing my athleisure wear and my cute little choker, and I did my makeup. We are talking about Miss Aaliyah today. Yes, the queen of the damned herself. So we will get into it. Before we do, I will introduce our special guest today, which is Miss Zoe Kravitz. I thought she had a very Aaliyah vibe, and so she would be the perfect guest for us today. So say hi to Zoe. Hi, Zoe. All right, guys, let's get into Aaliyah's life, legacy, and her unfortunate, untimely death. Okay, so Aaliyah Dana Houghton is born January 16th, 1979 to her parents Diane and Michael Houghton in Brooklyn, New York. So shout out to all my New York peeps. I grew up in upstate New York, so whoop whoop, New York. She does grow up in Detroit, Michigan, however, so they do move to Michigan. In the early 1980s, her family notices that she has a very unique, amazing singing ability. So she starts singing in school plays and at weddings, showcasing her talent. And in 1991, so she is only 11 years old, Aaliyah performs on the show's Star Search, and she performs My Funny Valentine. At that point, she starts touring with her aunt, Gladys Knight, and the famous R&B singer, if you don't know who that is. And that's where her career starts, at only 11 years old. Fun fact, Gladys Knight actually lives about 3 miles away from me. So, hey Gladys, if you're watching, we're neighbors. Hope you're doing great. And yeah. Okay, so also in 1991, this is when she meets Mr. R. Kelly. Now, if you live under a rock, you probably don't know who R. Kelly is. He's also an R&B singer and is like straight up a sexual predator. So, but this isn't found out until later. So anyways, I digress. So he meets her when she's only 12 years old. Mind you, R. Kelly is 24 years old. And he became her mentor at that time after being introduced by her uncle, Barry Hankerson, so who was also Kelly's manager. So in 1992, Aaliyah is 13 years old. She signs with Blackground Records, owned by Barry Hankerson, and begins recording her debut album. 1994, so fast forward a few years, May 24th, she releases her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, produced by R. Kelly. Oh God. The album includes hit singles like Back and Forth and At Your Best, You Are Love. The album goes platinum and it solidifies her as an R&B star. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, you know, a lot of good and a lot of not so great, right? She is so talented at such a young age, and she's already like star level at this point. She's 13 years old, and you know, there's people out there that are wanting to take advantage of that. So let's get into her relationship with R. Kelly, but I don't want to give this guy too much airtime, so let's just get this over with. Okay, so 1994 was a big year. So her album comes out, and then reports emerge that Aaliyah and R. Kelly secretly got married. Are you doing the math? She is 15 years old. 15 years old when she gets married to R. Kelly, who's what? 25, 26 at this point? Oh, God. She is listed as being 18 on the marriage license, so obviously they flubbed those numbers. And luckily, her parents were able to get the marriage annulled in February 1995 because she was underage and therefore legally not able to consent, so they were able to get it annulled. Neither Aaliyah or R. Kelly really gave any acknowledgement to the marriage at the time, and both kind of avoided discussing it in interviews, which I don't blame them. I don't really don't blame Aaliyah, right? In later years, Aaliyah really just wanted to keep that in the past, didn't want to talk about it, which again, I understand she was taken advantage of and she was manipulated. So, and that's what a lot of R. Kelly's former employees said, that she was definitely manipulated and controlled and exploited by R. Kelly. So, and if you haven't seen the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely eye-opening, and there's a lot more victims besides Aaliyah. So she wasn't the only one. So the reason why they got married too was supposedly R. Kelly thought that Aaliyah was pregnant, so he wanted to, like, I don't understand how marrying her makes it better, because like it's illegal, right? So after all of that, they get it annulled. It's taken care of. Their family never really like commented any further on that, due to her, wanting to protect her and her privacy. But yeah, so a lot of people say that she was a victim, which she was. She was a victim of manipulation, exploitation. So poor Aaliyah, already like getting she's 15, right? And she's coming into this world, wanting to be a star and wanting to sing, and, people are already taking advantage of her. But the good news is, in 2021, R. Kelly, again, if you've lived under a rock, you don't know this, but he was convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking, which included evidence of his illegal relationship with Aaliyah. So he definitely got what he deserved, and he's probably paying the price in prison, if you know what I mean. But anyways, so that's one of the dark spots in Aaliyah's career. But from here, she just explodes and blossoms. And I think if her life hadn't been cut short, she would have turned this around, and she already was turning around, but she would have triumphed over this huge road bump in her way, the R. Kelly road bump. But let's continue and talk about the rest of her career. In 1996, Aaliyah is only 17 years old, and she releases her second album, One in a Million, which is produced by Timbaland and Missy Elliott. Hello. Whoa. So the singles on this album include If Your Girl Only Knew and One in a Million. And this album redefines R&B music with futuristic beats and beat tracks. And this album goes multi-platinum, which 17 years old. And then when she's only 18 in 1997, she contributes to the soundtrack of Disney's Anastasia, which I didn't know about, with the song Journey to the Past. You know that song, the you know that one. You know that one, right? And this earned her an Oscar nomination for that performance, which she's 18 years old. Oh my God. So at this point, she begins her acting career as well. She's just on a roll here. And she she's in like a supporting role in the TV series New York Undercover. So she is already exploding on the scene. So Aaliyah at this point sounds like a 35-year-old, right? No, she's like 18, 19 years old. She graduates high school. She did all of this before graduating high school, guys. Oscar nomination, tours with Gladys Knight, puts out 2 albums, is featured on a Disney soundtrack, and then graduates high school. Like, what were you doing in high school? Like, what's your excuse, right? What was I doing in high school? Nothing. All right, so she graduates from Detroit High School for the Fine and Performing Arts, and she graduates with a 4.0, which, smart cookie over here too, geez. And then she puts out a few more records. Are You That Somebody for the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack, which earns her a Grammy nomination. So she graduates high school and gets nominated for a Grammy, nominated for an Oscar. Like, she's killing it. And she's only 18, 19 years old. Like, come on. 2000, she makes her film debut in Romeo Must Die. Have you seen that one? That was good. With Jet Li. And then she contributes to that soundtrack as well with the hit single Try Again, which becomes the first song to top the Billboard Hot 100 solely based on airplay, which she just like can't miss, right? Like she's getting out all these albums, she's getting out all these hit singles. So she's just, you know, reaching for the stars here, and she's hitting them, right? In 2001, she releases her third self-titled album, Aaliyah, and features the songs Rock the Boat, More Than a Woman, and We Need a Resolution. So this would be her last album that she releases before her untimely death. Okay, so now we come to that fateful day, August 25th, 2001. So Aaliyah is in the Bahamas shooting the video for her hit single, Rock the Boat. The shoot was wrapped up ahead of schedule, prompting her and her entourage to leave earlier than expected. So they tried to depart from Marsh Harbor Airport. As they were finishing the shoot, Aaliyah and her team headed to the airport on Abago Island to board a private aircraft, a Cessna 402B. Don't know what that means. All you airplane people, write it. Let me know what this airplane looks like. The group was really eager to return to the United States. So the aircraft carrying Aaliyah and her 8 members of her entourage and their equipment, the plane was like severely overloaded, exceeding its weight limit by several hundred pounds, and additionally the weight was not evenly distributed. The plane attempted to take off around 6:50 p.m. However, it struggled to gain altitude, and it crashed about only 200 feet away from the runway, and it burst into flames. So all 9 people, including Aaliyah and the pilot, were killed instantly. She was only 22 years old when she passed away. The amount of like talent and potential lost from Aaliyah is like staggering. I mean, she accomplished so much in such a short time. Who knows where she could have gone if she wasn't gone, right? So it's just like so sad and so unneeded. R.I.P. to Aaliyah. So the sense of loss was staggering across the world when Aaliyah passed away. Most fans were upset that it kind of took a back seat when 9/11 happened, when the Twin Towers were destroyed. That kind of overshadowed everything, right? So Aaliyah's death was kind of forgotten a little bit, and in the light of that, many celebrities made statements, including DMX and also her Timbaland, who produced a few of her songs and albums. He said that half of his creativity was lost when she passed away, which, sad. LeBron James even made a statement saying that Aaliyah inspired him to work through an injury early on his career and kept going. And then Beyonce also made a comment saying that her death was very scary. And I'm sure for a celebrity it is. You know, we'll get into it, but there are like conspiracies that it was a setup, right? And when you're that rich and famous, you know, I'm sure there's all sorts of people wanting to come after you and stuff. So it really got everyone wondering what actually happened. If there are any like suspicious circumstances, especially with it overshadowed by 9/11, you know, was this just kind of shoved under the rug and forgotten about? Like, we'll get into it, but yeah, so the loss of Aaliyah was definitely felt, and to her influence on the hip hop world, the acting world, her fashion, her look and her vibe in general really influenced a lot of things. She was just so effortless and beautiful and creative and humble, and she could have gone so much higher than she had. But anyway, so yeah, a big hole was left when she passed away. Okay, so your girl loves a conspiracy theory, and I think there's a lot surrounding this case, especially, like I mentioned, 9/11 happened right after this, and so fans and people paying attention to the Aaliyah case kind of felt like it was kind of just like swept under the rug, and no one really did any investigative work, right? So let's get into the conspiracy theories, because there are quite a few of them. So the first one is that Aaliyah was unwilling to board that plane, and she was incapacitated to get her on the flight. So the theory is that Aaliyah reportedly did not want to board the plane and was coerced by her entourage. In the 2021 book, Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah, by Kathy Iandoli, I think is how you say it, cites that an alleged witness claimed Aaliyah was given a sedative before being placed on the plane unconscious. Now, this report has never been verified, but she does mention it in her book, and no official evidence supports this claim. But Aaliyah was up and comer, and she was very influential. Did someone want to take her out? Did someone have motive to silence her? What do you guys think? Another theory is that it was foul play, and that the plane was sabotaged by people in the music industry. So some speculate that Aaliyah's death was not accidental, but was orchestrated by individuals in the music industry to take her down. She was becoming too independent, too successful, and threatened others in the music industry and their influence and their success. So they had her taken out in order to make themselves more available for success. You know what I mean? She's getting too much attention. I need more attention. I'm just gonna kill her. Okay. There's no credible evidence for this to support this one, but it's widely regarded as being just baseless. There's no suspects. There's no, who would have done it? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, what do you guys think of this? Who in the music industry would have wanted her dead? I don't know. Who's successful now? Who replaced Aaliyah? Who replaced Aaliyah? I don't know, maybe Zoe did. Zoe? She's awful quiet back there. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. But anyways, what do you guys think about this one? So the last big one that I'll mention, the Illuminati makes yet another appearance in one of our videos. So some conspiracy theorists link Aaliyah's death to the Illuminati, a supposed secret society controlling the entertainment industry. A lot of celebrities are rumored to be in the Illuminati, particularly one that I mentioned earlier in the video. But who knows? Was she taken out in some kind of ritualistic sacrifice by the Illuminati to do their bidding within, global affairs? I don't know. What do you guys think? These claims are obviously entirely speculative and lack any factual basis. So who knows? But we like to speculate. We like to talk about it, right? So which one do you think is most probable, guys? Do you think it was somebody in the music industry, wanting the attention? Do you think it was the Illuminati? Do you think, what was the first one? I already forgot. But yeah, was she becoming too successful? All of these are interesting theories, right? But, it was proved that like the weight limit and the pilot issues, the overloading and the unqualified pilot were key factors in the crash. This is confirmed by the investigation. And the last minute flight decisions, the group reportedly wanted to leave earlier than planned, and leading to the rush decision to take the overloaded plane. So that is like what most people believe, but I want to know what you guys think. So write in. Comment, I didn't like how you picked on Zoe back there. That's fine. Comment whatever. I'll take it. No press is bad press, right? So I want to know what you guys would think. So Aaliyah has a huge legacy footprint, and she was multifaceted. Obviously, she was a singer, she was an actress, she was a fashion icon. In the music industry, she pioneered R&B and pop, and revolutionized R&B by blending smooth, sultry vocals with hip hop and pop, shaping the sound of the late 90s and early 2000s music as a whole. Her ethereal voice and her boundary-pushing production popularized minimalist, cutting-edge sounds in mainstream music. She also has inspired many, many modern artists like Drake, Beyonce, and Rihanna, and she still continues to influence those artists today. So we have a lot to thank Aaliyah for the landscape of R&B and hip-hop and that music landscape today. So thank you, Aaliyah. And you can see all her stuff pretty much today and everything you hear. She influenced a lot. One of my favorite things about Aaliyah was her impact on fashion and culture at that time and now in future times. She had this like cool, effortless style. Obviously why I'm wearing like athleisure wear with, like kind of, sexy details, right? Like she blended streetwear with high fashion. She embodied cool. She was just so cool. And she had kind of this like androgynous style as well that was both aspirational and relatable. So she just came off very humble and relatable, like I said, and she popularized, it's hard to say, oversized jackets, baggy pants, and sneakers paired with crop tops and sleek accessories. She pioneered the streetwear and athleisure trends, which are influential today. Her iconic long, sleek hair with deep middle part emphasized natural beauty and simplicity, and she inspired generations. She was also a very influential young woman of color as well, and she was just so impactful for that generation and generations to come, just to like be yourself, right? She was all about being authentic, and she was said to be very humble, and that just kind of like oozed out of her style, right? You could just tell that that's who she was. She was graceful, she was confident, she was independence, and it really like cemented her status as an enduring fashion icon. So I just love her style. I love how effortless it was to her, and that really was just who she was as a person. Just one of my favorite things about Aaliyah. So Aaliyah did have a few releases after her unfortunate death. Her album Aaliyah remains one of her most influential albums out there. And also her music video for Rock the Boat came out after she passed away, which is, it's kind of creepy to watch it, right? Because that hours later after she filmed this, she was killed, which, I don't know. I don't like those like death videos. You know what I mean? Like moments before, like nothing bad happens in the video, but like, it's like moments before they pass away. I just find them creepy. Anyways, you can watch that video right now if you want to. But we're not going to leave this video without talking about Queen of the Damned, which is like one of my favorite movies, and it was released February 22nd, 2002, so just months after Aaliyah was killed. So it's just kind of like a sad kind of air around this movie. However, Aaliyah's performance was critically recognized. You know, she did amazing in it. She was, her performance was not critically acclaimed, like she didn't win any awards for it, but well, the critics said that she did a great job in it. However, the movie itself got mixed reviews. It is, however, a cult classic now. And like I said, one of my all-time favorite movies. Just the whole vibe of the movie is just so like ethereal and gothic and grungy and it's just so good. It's just like so early 2000s, like definitely the vibe I love, right? So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, especially for Aaliyah's performance. She is amazing in it. And too, like the fashion in it and stuff, like she just looks so good and she's just like oozes cool. She's just so cool. And such an artist. Like she was so multifaceted as well. Like you can act, you can sing, you know, and she was just such a humble person as well. Like she was going places. But anyways, if you haven't seen Queen of the Damned, go watch it. I own it, so if you want to borrow it, come over and you can borrow my VHS. So in conclusion, Aaliyah's influence endures decades after her untimely death. She still inspires artists like Beyonce, Rihanna, Drake, the huge figures in the music industry today. She also influenced fashion and film and just our culture in general. She was a huge force to be reckoned with. The Aaliyah Foundation honors her memory by supporting underprivileged youth as well. So she was a humanitarian as well and continues to do that after her death, which, wow. She was a cultural icon and a role model to not only young women of color, but also everyone else. Like, you treat everyone with respect and you treat yourself with respect. You stay true to yourself. You know, you show the world what you're made of, right? And Aaliyah definitely did. She stayed true to her artistry. She stayed true to her beliefs. And she still inspires, you know, generations after she's gone, which, thank you, Aaliyah. So like always, I like to end on a quote, which is what we just talked about, really. Aaliyah says, "I stay true to myself and my style, and I'm always pushing myself to be aware of that and to be original," which I kind of flubbed, sorry. But you get the point. She was all about staying true to herself and staying true to what she believed in. So I hope that inspires you to be true to yourself. If there's something making you itch a little bit, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. So yeah. So love yourself and be true to yourself, guys. All right, so without further ado, there's Miss Aaliyah. Oh my God, it's so good. I love this pose of her. It shows off her style, her effortless, athleisure, you know, kind of edgy style. And she's in her moment. She's in her game, right? She's singing. Oh my God, Aaliyah, you look so good. Oh, we miss you. All right, Aaliyah, I will put you with the others. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.